Stipe Miocic went on the Jackson podcast, and we finally got an inside look into the man Stipe Miocic, because to be honest with you, he's not necessarily ever himself on Ariel Helwani or any other post-fight interviews, because he's a very guarded type person. I totally understand, private man in Ohio, firefighter, family guy. You get what I mean? Like, he wants this to be that, and he wants his private time to be his private time. Totally understand. But I've always been a huge Stipe fan, so I kind of wanted to talk about it because he did have a lot to say about Jon Jones, that he is ready no matter what, no matter when. He thinks possibly November, because then, that's when MSG card is coming back around. So that's when they canceled it last time. It was an MSG. And I think personally, I know a lot of people are shitting on this fight, but once the fight happens, I think a lot of people are not going to shit on it as much. And they can say he's old, he sat out, he didn't want Tom Aspinall for either of them, John or Stipe. But regardless, he is still taking all that time off, been recovering from the Francis Ngannou knockout, been training his body. I think he said he's 255 right now. So we talked about it in What's Next for Jon Jones video, where Stipe's weight did fluctuate. He was about 240 something in the first Francis fight, then got knocked out to DC. Then he dropped about 10 pounds and won both trilogy bouts, the second and third one, sorry. And then going against Francis the second time, he was 10 pounds lighter than when he won the first fight. So personally, I talked about my theory, a possibility of not saying that that's the only reason, because Francis clearly made progress on him being a wrestler. It's not that Francis just, whatever, because of the weight difference, but 10 pounds for Stipe going against a DC versus a Francis Ngannou, like, that's a huge difference, and maybe that was a big indicator as to how he was not able to get him to the ground like he was 10 pounds heavier in the first fight. Now, going into this, clearly from 240 something, I think 242 against Francis the first time, down to 230 in the second and third DC fight, and then fighting Francis around 234 or 233-ish, 232, whatever it was, the second time when he got knocked out and he wasn't able to take him down. I mean, I feel like that's a clear indicator that he wanted to take the time off to put that weight back on, so that when he faced Francis again, clearly it didn't happen, or when he faces John, he's big and beefy at 255, where he can wrestle them, get them to the ground and pound or submission or whatever the case is. But I think that's the method of victory for Stipe and what he wants to do. A lot of people don't realize, Division I wrestler, Golden Gloves champion. Let's not forget, like, dude has hands and can wrestle. He's not just some sort of fighter that's all willy-nilly Jon Jones is going to get the win. Even though I think Jon Jones is that great where we could see that happen, but Stipe is so fucking good that it's not somebody I'm going to count out, especially the way he talked in that podcast where he's like, yeah, I'm sitting out. Whatever time he comes back, I want that fucking fight. He's waiting for Jon, and I think he thinks he can beat Jon and take that. Well, I mean, you get what I mean, because he already has one, but it's not a real loss. But regardless, I think he really does believe that he can take Jon's first loss or give him a first loss. And I don't know, man. It's a very close fight. It's a fight I've been wanting to see. I know a lot of people, especially after the pectoral tear, now we're going to wait, and Tom Aspinall, interim champion, and Alex Pereira, and all these different things. But I'm telling you, it's a fight that needs to happen. It's a fight that we're going to see. And even though they're, 40s, whatever, Stipe's in his 40s, being a heavyweight in your 40s is not the craziest big deal, okay? Let's be honest. Because a lot of heavyweights keep their power. They're still there. They're still active. I mean, look at Randy Couture. And I'm sure that there have been a couple other aging fighters who have won it on their way at the end of their career. Look at Glover. And I know that's not heavyweight. That's light heavyweight. But still, older man, bigger guy, you can still keep your power and still stay and maintain and be good in a division if you can still keep up with the young bucks in other ways. Sometimes experience is better than, that young buck athletic energy. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes that can get you into trouble where those experienced fighters can then take advantage of them and get a win. Clearly, we don't have that. They're two older veteran fighters, and they're top of their game. Now, I know clearly the last fight, Stipe got knocked out against Francis, and he wanted that get back because they're 1-1. Totally understandable. But we don't have that option anymore unless we get a cross promotion with PFL, which is never going to fucking happen because their promotion's absolutely dog shit, if I'm being honest with you. And I'm someone that doesn't want to shit on the promotion because I think that there should be a strong number 2, and I think that they have a viable option to be a strong number 2. They're just not, which is sad to say because Bellator had a better product than them. And I'm gonna do a whole video on the PFL because PFL's kind of low-key been pissing me off how much they fumbled it, but that's for another video. Back to Stipe versus John. That's a real possibility. Stipe deserves his shot. He was still is the heavyweight GOAT. John coming into heavyweight. Let's see who's the real GOAT. Let's see. John, light heavyweight GOAT in general. Let's see if he can take on the heavyweight GOAT. Let's see if Stipe can get a third title, basically, a third time championship at heavyweight, because lost against DC, got it back from DC, lost against Francis. Let's see. You know what I mean? Let's see. So let me know what you think down below about Stipe coming back and when John's actually going to come back and when they're going to finally book this. But it seems like he's going to wait out and he's not going to face Aspinall or Pereira or Blades or anybody waiting in the heavyweight division. But hopefully we can get that fight really soon. Again, let me know what you think down below, and I'll see you in the next one.
It's time!